On November 15th, 1987, Continental Flight 1713 crashes shortly after takeoff from Stapleton International Airport in Denver. 25 passengers and 3 crew members lost their lives that night. Can you take me back to that night?
Yeah, it was actually it's that day too, because what had happened that day, we'd gotten a freak snowstorm. I was, with Thornton Fire at the time. I was up at our Station 4 on the medic unit. And I was a paramedic. And because of the body and fenders guy, going to my... I was also an extrication specialist.
Okay.
So I knew a lot about auto extrication because I knew how cars were made, how to take them apart. And so that was part of my specialty. And we were watching on the news this event happen. And it snowed like crazy. We're going, man, those poor Denver guys. And we're just fixated because we hadn't had a plane crash in Denver ever like that.
Yeah.
And fixated on news, and then the phone rings. And it's, it's our chief, our battalion chief. It's like, hey, you need to take your medic unit, come down to Station 1, pick up the Jaws of Life. You guys are going to go out to Denver, report to, I think it was the 56th Street gate, 56th Avenue gate, and they'll let you in, and you just respond in. So I went down. Okay, all of a sudden it became from watch on TV. Now we're going to be players.
Yeah.
And my partner in the medic unit and I went over and went down to Station 1, picked up all the extrication equipment that we could put on the medic unit, and then we went down to the site, got there, went through the gate. We went to one of the stations that was out, on Stapleton, the fire station, and what was a staging area. So we're waiting out there, and we could see way out in the distance blinking lights, but we couldn't see the plane. And then we got notification that they were going to make the station where we were the morgue. And so they said, okay, so we need to get this all set up. And so we're all working on putting down tarps and using the floor drains and kind of positioning things. Doctors were showing up. They were going to be helping with that. And one of the memories I have is this powder blue school bus coming toward us, and they're saying, okay, they're bringing some of the victims out. And, this little powder blue school bus comes along and backs up to the doors, and they open the back emergency door, and there's all these bodies just, stacked in there. And, I'm always one of the ones that, okay, I want to be right there where the action is. And so we're reaching in and taking them out, and there were guys inside that were, bringing them toward us. They were in tarps. So we're dragging the tarps out. And that's when my partner on the medic unit started to lose it. He's like, man, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. And all these people. So we're setting them, taking them down. And then once we unloaded the bus, we got, helped the physicians to go through the pockets to try to identify him, and writing down all the information. And while we're doing that, that was pretty tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then we got the call, hey, Thornton unit, you guys, they need you up at the site. And so we grabbed our stuff and drove on out to the plane. And I was amazed at how big everything was. Plane crash. You don't have any idea of the scope. And it was all snowy, and just the amount of paper that was floating around, just really? Paper everywhere. I was kind of surprised by that. Luggage and belongings everywhere. And they told us to go around to the east side of the plane, and under the wing, the Denver guys were trying to get people out from the inside, and the fuselage, when it hit, all the chairs had snapped off their bolts, and they just accordioned everybody together. So they were all squished in there. So as they were pulling people off, they were just dying, because of relieving the pressure. So they said, look, we want you guys to cut through the middle of the fuselage under the wing. So the plane was flipped over, if you can imagine that this is the fuselage and you have the wings kind of sticking out like this, and the plane is upside down, they said, we want you guys to go under this wing and cut into the fuselage however you can, and see if we can start getting people out from the middle so that they're dying before we can get to them. So that was our assignment. And my partner in the medic unit was a thinner guy. I was pretty strong, and they put me with another strong firefighter, medic, both of us paramedics, to tunnel under the wing, and we were putting up bracing, the wing, because it's full of fuel.
Yeah.
This whole thing is full of fuel and stripping down. It's kind of like almost like a rainforest in there, but it's fuel that's dripping.
Really?
And as we're tunneling underneath, there were a bunch of bodies that when the plane had broken open, they were in there. And so we're checking all these people. They were all dead. So we literally are tunneling through people to get to this fuselage. And once we verified that they were dead, we weren't pulling them out because we had the assignment. If one of them had been alive, we would have,
right.
But, checked everybody, and everybody was gone. There were about, I think there were probably about 6 or 7 bodies in this tight area where we're working. And so then we started, working to cut through the fuselage, which we had to be careful because we had all this fuel, so we couldn't make sparks, and weren't using those kind of tools. So it was more like using axes and prying and cutting and really labor intensive. And I'd be using the jaws of life to jam in there and propping myself up against a body back here. I remember this really pretty blonde gal, and she was passed away, and I'd apologize to her because I had to lean up against her to jam the tools up in there. We saved a couple lives, lost some. One guy, we were talking to him, we'd cut through, and he was going home for the holiday, and just trying to give him reason to hang on. Okay, we're almost there, and then he he's like, oh man, I just want to take a nap. It's like, dude, stay with us. I'm just sleepy. I'm just so tired. I know you're tired. Just hang in there. Goes, I just want to close my eyes. Just give me just a minute. And then he just went quiet. And there was a medic, a little gal, because she was tiny, and so she could fit into where he was. And so she was trying to do CPR, and she couldn't do it, and we had to pull her out. And it was bad.
How many people were on that plane?
It was full. I think they had it like 80. It was a full plane. But 87 comes to mind, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So probably
full flight.
Right over a quarter or a third of the people passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a
tough deal.
Tough night.
Yeah, it was.
For sure. Yeah. That's I wanted to ask about that because those in the eyes of a lot of people that are heroic efforts, and I think that's part of the job that people don't think about all the time, and really get a glimpse into the traumatic situations that you and other firefighters and the people in that type of work encounter on a day-to-day basis, and the things that we take advantage of or take for granted, sitting at home watching our television, going to work 9 to 5, and those type of things are out there happening. So
at the same time, I think, we lost, that guy's name was Mike. We lost Mike, but we got the next one, and so that's that thing where I would want Mike's family to know that he didn't die alone.
Yeah.
He was there, people were there. And that's that thing. When I said, earlier, it's if not me, who? When the people that worked under that wing, my partner in the medic unit, the guy that was under the wing with me, both of them got out of the fire service.
Really?
Within a year after that. It just broke them.
Yeah.
It was a tough thing.
That's kind of one of the first questions I asked you about. Was there ever a time where you were like, "Man, I'm not cut out for this," or
No.
And that's kind of why I was touching on it, because I know that there's tough situations to deal with.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
That probably some people that get into it don't really think of, can I really do that? Am I cut out for that? Or can't just play that out in their head, and once it comes across that's when you realize it.
Yeah, no, life has a tendency to give you what you're capable of,